moss before it dries out.
Just try to ignore it.
Crisis, walls becoming iceless. Eyeless factors joining ISIS. These the times that work in darkness. You need a minute silence. Baby, I provide this. A minute dance and cast the world. Infect me, it's valid priceless. Oh baby, I got my telephone price. And do you know that baby, you shouldn't bend the grains, they still come nice.
Okay, that was the scrub, which has left quite a bit of a mess still, but let's give it a rinse. You know, the sad thing is I'm not really permitted to work on the car here, and all at least I can do is wash it and cover it up so the HOA doesn't complain. You know what I was told? This isn't New Mexico. We've got an HOA. You've got to have a plan. Well, catch yourself on, like, you'll know my plan as soon as I do. Anyway, I thought she was white, but she's cream. Well, you'll forgive me for stewing, but, you know, sometimes you just need your own space to work, and this isn't it, so it's the same complaint everybody has in this town. And this is about the part where half of you say, well, that's why you shouldn't be going to California. But I tell you what, California has all the best cars, so what can I say? She may not be a ride with what be all the moss growing out of every crack, but she's still better than half the lasses over in Bello Buffet. And she's mine, so time to put some more soap to it, and this is all moss. Still, it's just hard to scrub some of it out, and you know, I was instructed immediately, wash and cover the car. Yeah, so until she's transported, there's not really much else I'm permitted to do. Boo. Perfect dash. I'm gonna spray it so that it's kind of hopefully softens up a little bit. And that is that's a big deal for me. Yeah, I hope what I'm looking at there is just some debris from the bottom mat, but it might just be black mold. Yay. So I'm now putting some bottles under the rugs, kind of to air out the floor. I really should do it under the other mat, but honestly, it's been 13 years. What's another month? But it will be somewhat more dry than before. It will be sort of out of the elements because it will be covered. And I need to spray some conditioner on the plastics so that they can try to soften up a little bit, and the leather. So I'm currently packing up the car with all my tools so that when I transport the thing to Albuquerque, it'll be there. They'll be there. Some good news, all of these keys work with the locks on this car, and we have ignition, doors, trunk, and my favorite, the gas cap. It actually works. It doesn't smell awful in there too. I removed it, I'll spare you. Just some moss comes out. There was a whole bunch of moss in the corner. Anyway, there's a bit of good news.
I'm sexier. I'm sexier. Marginally sexier. I'm sexier. Depending on your criteria.
So, I've decided to say to the HOA, we're gonna work on this car in secret. I'm gonna do it very late at night when it's nice and quiet. I'm gonna do a compression test first, see if I can get it started, maybe even driving a little bit later. But I wanna do it with the least amount of noise and light required. So I got this old battery here that I found, just an extra one lying in one of the neighbor's cars, and hooked it up. Terminals seem to be on the right side. Didn't have an immediate meltdown, so we'll take them keys and see what happens. Hey, she's in neutral. Sure, park. Whoop, things are clicking. Oh, look at that. Amp light, brake light, very good. Aye, side markers. That's not so bad. Oh, 5 out of 6. How about the rears? Yeah, good for her. Looks like some of the mold's dried up. That's good. And look at that. Tapped on the cluster. One of our bulb broken sockets fell out, so... Oh, you're spring-loaded. Had no idea. Makes sense. Quite luxurious of an item. Aye, look at that. Aye. We woke her up. Good. Ooh, looks like I've got gas in the tank, if that's any indication. Uh-oh. The fuel pump is disconnected, but there's that. How about you? You gonna work? Wow, look at that. Fan. Fan's got power. Very good. What do you suppose is in the ashtray? Oh, it doesn't look like a smoker car. That's a clean ashtray. Not even a coins collection. How about the radio? Oh, yeah. Ooh, that scared me. Wow. A working radio, mate. Good sound. Wow, fair sound quality from the one speaker. I'm pleased with how many things are working. That's wonderful. Okay. The next thing to check is, does she crank? Now you see over here on the starter, the little brown wire is disconnected. And that's normal because the terminals are tiny and normal size connectors don't stay on very well. Or that starter is kind of broken. We'll find out. I'm not surprised to see a dirty filter like this, but I am surprised to see a puddle of oil in the bottom box here. How does oil get here, you say? This feller, which is our valve cover breather hose, so it must be a lot of vapors coming out that way. And it just pools right at the bottom. Carbies look, well, you tell me. Carbies look there. That's stiff. But she moves. Okay, how about over yonder? A little bit easier on this side. Alright, there's that butterfly. Think you'll come down at some point? Let's see how dashpot number 1 looks. Still got ATF in there. That's cool. Thanks for your slurpus. 5 out of 6 lightning hoses came out okay, and now I'll take my 13/16 and somewhat glamorously break them all loose and inspect. Number 1 looks all right. It's a dry. Number 2 is a bit oily. Number 3, okay, fine. 4, a little short on that electrode. By the way, these all have very short threads. And the Bosch number 5, these are Bosch coppers. Okie doke. And 6. So they're kind of all even, and I think that's good because it's showing me the combustion. I mean, if that's any indicator, then combustion's okay. It was okay back then. So none of these are completely burnt or broken out from maybe a valve dropping or something like that. So let's now check my fluids, and I've got a cool big yellow dipstick instead of a regular finger loop. This is, a full meat pot can go inside of this feller. And from there, I'll check the trans fluid just for funskies and move on to getting... maybe I should take the valve cover off. Wouldn't that be interesting to see the thing in action? Who knows? Could have some fun rebuild parts in there. Oh yeah, let's look inside the cylinder holes. Big dipper. Ooh. Gross skis. Well, she didn't leak out everything. Check it out, gents. I found the old Porta Peeper. So I can use this to try and see what's inside one of these pistons. It's like the best image I could come up with for number 1. This must have been hot stuff for I don't know, 10 years ago, but look at it now. Well, do you see the valve there on the left? That's their yonder valve. Here comes piston. Yeah, and there's the top of the piston. Yeah, kind of a waste of all of our time. Let's get moving on to the compression test. Ah, she's still full of coolant. You see that? Who's she gurgling? Alrighty, if you say so. Good for you.
25 and things have changed, yeah. Big boy now.
Well, not good. Cylinder 1, 118. Cylinder 2, 0. 3, 138. 4, 136. 5, 65. Ugh. 6, 120. The tone in my voice is not because I'm disappointed. It's because I want to get back to working on Ivy. I don't want to be here looking at Genevieve. She's perfected her 100-yard glare quite well, actually. Starter wiring, very simple. The top wire that is the spade terminal, and then the green and red were like stripped and taped together, and they're not supposed to be, so now I know how it's supposed to go. Anyway, I did the right thing and I made some fire make it happener, so we're gonna go and just psh the thing and see what happens after I get these wires in the right order.
I really thought that I'd have a beard by now. I really thought that I'd have a beard by now. I really thought, yeah.
Right about now is the time where I can smell everybody's dinner. It smells like they're having a nice time. Maybe I'll get to smell some hydrocarbons. It's not Sunday, but who knows? Maybe a guy gets lucky. All right, you see that there yonder wire. I was really hoping to do the right thing and run it through a hole of rust right into the firewall, but the rust up in the cowl just ends up in the cowl. So I think now if I turn the key with the battery connected, it should crank. Yeah, it seems like that starter likes to catch that round tooth on it or something and just spin, spin, spin. So, and then it makes a real nice clunk to wake up all the neighbors' kids. So let's see, why on earth is the fuse panel over there? I just don't get that. But it's intact. All right, time for some fuel make it happener. Let's get these pistons up. And we open the throat a bit. Oh, that's strong. Okay. Well, she did the thing and just blew out a lot of dust from the radiator. Gentlefish, I think we're gonna get her started here in a minute. Just put this here by the juice box. Yeah, there we go. Well, we've reached the limits of the one-man op. Let's get some gasoline in a can and give her the old sippy straw. Is this the height of luxury or what? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Gotta check the tailpipe is clear. Make sure feed the plants. That's recycling at its finest right here. Okay, we're back from the filling station. Here is the can. Hose goes all the way to the fuel pump. We'll see if she pumps. And you can hook your peepers right here, this little bit here, to tell me if the pump's actually doing any work, so I can figure out if I'm cranking in vain or not. Spray some more starting fluid, and I believe cross fingers. How do I describe the smell? It's like if hot poop was fossilized, but only for a short time. Oh, yes. Genuine excitement noise. That's properly leaking. Maybe I'll place some hoses before moving on again. Okay, the fuel lines decided to leak in about 843 different spots, so I went ahead and replaced everything. This is basically the majority of it. This little wobbly T-shape here. I've adjusted the carburetors. It looks like the idle mixture screws were all the way in, which means they were starved for air, and it would only run at full open throttle. That's no good. I'm not even sure if I'm getting full throttle when I push the pedal down, because sometimes the adjustment's bad and you only get partial, so you really want to confirm all that. So I'm going to go ahead and do the right thing and just keep spraying and cranking. Maybe the filter is just that bad. I don't know. I could still see a little bit of light through it, but let's just leave it off. She was good there for about 40 RPM. I think I'm pushing my luck for tonight. Let's let it sit and we'll come back to it tomorrow. You know, the inside of these actually cleaned up right nice. And some of you experienced Stromberg, guys. Well, you would have guessed it even before I ever cracked the tops off of these 175s that, well, you know, that. So that explains why we weren't running at anything except full throttle, where it's starving for air. And that explains why. These are just hard and plastic now. You see, they're supposed to be this nice soft rubber. And I also discovered a small tear in the front side, so that's... we're spoiled with the SU carbs, but, you know, these are the right ones for the power here that we need on this inline sixer. So, all right, I'm going to order some parts. We'll get back to her soon. Okay, family time update. I just picked this up from the service station where they had the valve covers replaced, and it was great. It was not great at first because it had a misfire, but that's not the point. And then I was up to, that was like the first start of my day, and that was 3 p.m. And it was because I was up till 5 a.m. working on this bad boy, rewiring the radio and swapping over interior pieces. And why did it take me so long to do these tasks? I think my perfectionism is getting in the way of my productivity. I really got to wrap stuff up though. So anyway, that XC90 is not going to be here very long. I'll probably sell her off at the end of summer, and this will be a new daily, but we're all here to talk about Ivy, okay? I can't find my one-piece gray tracksuit, but I'm trying my hardest to look like your Italian landlord, Squiggly Gigliani. Anyway, so here working, I become a night animal. I've gone to bed at 5 a.m., I wake up at 3 p.m., and then I work all night so nobody bothers me. I get left alone, and this HOA situation. Look what showed up. We got diaphragm gaskets for the 164. For Amy, that means we're going for a drive tonight. I hope. Okay, welcome back. It's another nice, cool evening out here in Southern California. And that's pretty pretty with the tree in there. You know, all of this back here, I have zero tolerance for this kind of rust. So, anyway, back to cranking here.
I want a place to keep the food I don't eat. All the fellas say,
sounds amazing. That is so cool. The plant's okay? Atta girl. I got 2 of these in the giant parts haul with Bruce, and I just never used them. I was like, what am I gonna do with old fuel? What am I gonna do with old oil filters? I could just buy new ones. But this is the same filter I pulled off of Ivy, which makes me wonder with the larger size, larger capacity, if this is the correct filter for the inline 6, and why is it that the new parts catalogs only have the small filters, the same ones used on the 4 cylinders, for the 6-cylinder engine? Anyway, what's going on? And I feel quite comfortable and confident that it's going to be exactly what I need.
I don't care who you are. There's just something about spicy buffalo chicken.
All right, lunch break is over, and it's always nice not to have to eat alone. Here we go, right back to it. Let's get her driving. Didn't want my gas can to get lonely, so I gave him a blankie and a couple of friends. Make sure they all stay together. Oh, what's that? You're here to complain about my running and driving car? Well, I'm afraid you're a little too late. That's life, baby. It's a lot of fake it till you make it. I was very careful when I removed the air box to keep all the clips because I know it can be difficult to find them new, so I'm gonna go ahead and do the right thing now and stick a zip tie on it. Oh, she's coming. She's coming back. Someone's being camera shy. I guess we're asking a lot. This is so dumb. Okay, the fuel line was pinched at the hood, so I stuck some pliers in it to keep it open, and then used this bungee with a block of wood to give her a unibrow so that the front of the hood doesn't, you know, pinch against the pliers and damage anything. Because, you know, gotta keep my rusty car from getting too damaged. This is so dumb, dude. All right, let's go now. Nope, doesn't seem like it's enough. Well, she agreed to idle, but she did nothing when I wiggled the tree limb. Might have something to do with the zip ties here on the linkage. But you tell me, what do you see? reverse, neutral, drive, low. That's as low as it goes in low. Well, that seems to have been expertly repaired, so why don't I just move on to checking the fluid level? She may be low. Just fill her up until she leaks all over the driveway. Yeah. I mean, you're supposed to check it when it's running, but if it barely gets to the bottom of the sticker, needs a little more dipper. I think burps means she's drinking. Well, I only had 1 quart of premium Add This fluid, so she's an expensive girl. If she's thirstier than that, let's just see what happens. Take 6, I guess. See what happens when you get them hooked on the juice. I gotta call it for tonight. It's getting late. It's getting loud. And that's that. I'll have to crumble this cookie another day. Well, I think that's where I'm gonna end today's video. What did I learn? 3 nights working in secret, and she doesn't really run any better than she did a few days ago, a few hours ago. Maybe there are other... I guess what I'm trying to say is don't... Well, I think this is where I'm going to end today's video. It's not entirely discouraging because I've got something else to look forward to. More on that in a minute, but you know, a few lessons were learned, always learned. Cars are just teachers and of ourselves, really. And if something was running an hour ago, doesn't mean it's going to continue to run. I think that's the lesson. But the neighbor came over today and we was just chatting about anything, and I noticed that on the firewall was a little amber light, and I was like, there's no firewall lights on these cars. And it turns out that the resistor was getting so hot that it was actually turning, it was glowing, it was becoming a filament, and it was definitely lighting up the backside of the firewall. Now there's a reason why they're surrounded with the ceramic casing, but it wasn't supposed to do that, I don't think. So something's going on with the ignition system. It might just be weak and tired. I mean, that coil looks like she sweat a couple of summers in Vietnam. So the next thing to do is, well, I closed everything up and just try to get some more oil in there, because as I found out, she's a rich girl and she's gone too far, but it doesn't really matter anyway. And so, gosh, 2 or so weeks from now, I think, is when I'm going to transport the car to New Mexico. That'll have sort of put enough hours in on this thing. When's it gonna end? And that's, I just want to get out of here, so, you know, I'm grateful for the work, but the sooner I can get Amy away from here, the sooner I guess I can get myself away from here, too. In today's other news, I found this hat while bicycling today, and I can imagine why somebody else must have lost it off of their bucket, because, well, it doesn't really stay. So there is that, and there might be a little bit of confusion as to what people understand is the plan right now, and I'll admit I'm not a very good planner. I mean, for many years I used to say, I don't make plans, I make solutions. Boy, was I an asshole. So you should have both, and now my plan is Amy, well, she's got too much rust, you know, and that's not really a car that's worth putting the time and effort to get running and driving well, but she's got a lot of good parts on her, so, you know, mechanical, I should say, electrodigital limitations aside, she's got an engine that sounds pretty healthy. And in addition to that, the interior, as you know, I want that interior, mostly the dashboard, but also the seats will be cool. More like a stopgap on those seats, really, because, yeah, she could use some proper leather. But the plan is to keep Ivy and get rid of Amy. Amy's gonna, you know, her last hurrah will be the drive on and off the trailer, fingers crossing, for the transportation to New Mexico. And if that goes well, then, you know, thank you for your service and rest in peace. You know, Ivy is still #1 gun, and I think getting her finished at any cost is the point. Now, the next thing I'm about to say seems like it doesn't make any sense, because it really doesn't, and I became a very impulsive person. And that is, I am, well, you know, I'm limited by all the space here. I have nowhere to really park cars in LA. I get one spot at the apartment, and then street parking / the street sweepers, so I gotta move my car every week, and this is becoming a long rant, but what I'm getting at is I went ahead and did the right thing and bought another car. And I'm gonna go to San Jose tomorrow and pick up a 1972 164, and I'm gonna leave you with that. Squiggly Jigglyani will return. Yeah, I think that's all I got. See you with the next video soon. I'm losing my mind. My one finger to the HOA has now become 2. Why wait, you know? Yeah, I guess that was a little overzealous. As soon as I started putting trans oil in, the expansion tank started bleeding because it doesn't hold pressure. Threatening to poke me in the eye. I'm the one who does the poking. Amy was being a very bad girl today. She was showing off for the neighborhood. I think my bark is a little bit worse than my bite, because as soon as the coolant started spraying on the engine and the steam was coming up, I started getting an audience of the local folks out here. You know, these are the wealthy type of people, you know, the ones that have the 2 of the same breed of dog. And I just shut her down, put the cover back on, and pretended like I was just watering the moss. Well, I'll get back to it another day. It was a little overzealous of me, but it's, you know, yeah, I wear the same thing every day. I think I'm ready to pound the gavel on this thing not driving, considering it takes 16.7 pints of ATF. Whoa. Because the last thing I want is to find out that I do have a blown out rear main seal or something, and then rotating the car around, it's just going to dump it all down the driveway. That doesn't belong to me. All right. See you guys soon.